Okay, what I got is a mash cone. And I've got all these handle sets paired together. I've got a pin in each end. I've got one profiled where I want it across the top. So what I'm going to do now is match the other scale to the one I want. I'm not too worried about the rest of it because when I get it on the knife, I'm going to shape the wood down to the metal. All I want to do is fix this front. So when I do all 5 sets, I'll face them, clean them up, and then I'll be ready to put them on the knife. So how I do that is like this. There's one. And when I get done, I'll bring y'all back and we'll look at them. Okay. All right. Glad to get that thing off, but it saves the old lungs. So, I hope everybody's doing all right. I just wanted to get some time off from work, and I do a couple days. So, what I've got here is I've got the 5 knives laid out. I've got both scales shaped in the front like I want. As you see, I got the handle pins cut to length. The width of the handle plus the thickness of the blade, so they're going to be the right length. I cut 15 nickel silver pins. Cut them to length, chamfered them, and the reason I chamfer them is because they go in and out of the wood and they hit the hole better. So, I've got 5 knives, 5 sets of handles. Get them over here where they go, 1 through 5. 4, 3, and 2, like so. Do this 1 knife at a time. Okay? Number 1. The reason that we do this is so that when we get these scales on the side of that knife, you cannot get down, keep both scales mirror imaged, and finish this once it's against the steel. You can, but it's very difficult, very time consuming. This way you get a perfect match. No, they're not even, as you can see. However, when they're on the knife, I can grind all this nice and flush with the knife itself, the tang. The front will already be done, excuse me. And I don't have to worry about scratching the steel or the blade or not getting the profile that I want. Excuse me. Now, I used to take these and round them all the way down to here. What I've learned is it's okay, but I like to leave just a nice 1/8 inch flat spot against the steel, and then bevel the handle material back. I think it makes it a little stronger. It's not as apt to split later on. And it looks very pleasing to the eye. So what I'm going to do now is pull these apart. I'm going to sand them. I know they go on this knife because it's numbered 001. The scales are numbered 1. So what I'm going to do now is pull these pins, scuff the inside of the handle scales, apply my epoxy. The knife's already scuffed. I'll apply my epoxy, and then I will put these handles on there. Everything should line up. Everything should be right on point. So we'll take a set of dikes and just barely pull these pins up out of there. Just like so. Shouldn't take much pressure. Nice and even. I could probably just scuff them with a piece of sandpaper, and I think I will. Right here. Just give them a little scuffing. They're already flat. I've done checked them. What this is going to do is allow for the epoxy to grab onto the scale better. A lot better, actually. Nice and flat. Not doing much sanding. Just enough to scuff the knife scale. And we'll check them. Make sure there are no gaps in them nowhere. None to be seen. Then we'll mix us up some epoxy. We'll lay the scale, we'll epoxy the tang, and we'll epoxy the scale. I know it's a lot of epoxy, but I'd rather have a little bit too much than not enough. So the first thing we're going to do, in order to epoxy them, is take some painter's tape, and we'll cover up this blade. Because we don't want to get epoxy all over everything we worked hard to get. We'll lay a scale on there. See it just about where it comes to. Hold it up and you can see the daylight of the pinholes to help line it up for you. Now I know about where it's at. I'll take a piece of painter's tape. I'll lay across it. Just about like so. And we'll wrap some painter's tape around it. And now I know where I'm at. I'll take a little bit more. Dang, stuff didn't start straight coming off there. There it is. Take a little more. Couple pieces. And I know there's an angle there. So I'll come up here and I'll hit that angle. Both sides. About like so. Just like so. Looks like a pair of wings on there. Then I'll lay the scale up there one more time. I'll check it. As you can see, the tape goes around it. So I don't get tape or glue all up and down this tang. We don't want to get glue all over it. It's just more I have to clean up. We'll lay the scales like they go. We'll lay them open, like so. We'll get the epoxy out, get it mixed. Epoxy it, pin it. We'll throw a couple clamps on it, clean it up a little bit, and it's ready to go. So I'll get you back on here when I get the pins in it, or driving a pin in it or something when I get all the epoxy on there. It's just mixing 2-part epoxy, Devcon or Gorilla. It's either one will work. So hang tight and I'll bring you back. All right, I want y'all to see what I'm doing here. I didn't think I was wanting to film it all, but sometimes it's just better to let you see what I'm doing than tell you what I'm doing. Will it make for a longer video? It probably will. But that's all right. I think some things just you need to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it. This is 5-minute epoxy, so I don't have a whole lot of time to do this. I make sure I got my handle pins right here, ready to go. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue one of these scales. Glue the pins I'm going to put in one of the scales and let them stick through. When I do that, I'm going to glue the tang, lay the tang over, fit it to the scale, glue the other side of both the scale and the other side of the tang, and sandwich them together. Now, I'm not going to panic. I know I've only got 5 minutes, but this pan is a little cold. It's going to give me an extra minute, okay? It's not hot down here. Now, if it was really warm, I might lay off of it or change epoxies. But I believe 5 minutes should be sufficient. Wear gloves. It can get messy. So we'll just scooch us out here enough we think we'll coat both knives. Draw the excess back, put the cap on it. If you don't, your glue will ruin and you won't be able to use any more of it. Put it to the side, take your stir stick, and we'll blend these epoxies really well. It's a 2-part, so if we need more, we can scooch some more out there. Mix it up pretty good. You want it to be mixed thoroughly. Okay. This is good stuff if you get it mixed right. And we'll get her mixed up. Okay. It looks pretty good. Now we'll roll our pin in it. We'll start that pin down through the handle. Take another pin, roll it in there, start it down through the handle. Take our third pin, put some epoxy on it, down through the third hole. Okay, we'll take our hammer and we'll tap them down. All right, then we'll tap them through a little so our knife can find them. We'll roll it over. Put some epoxy on the tang. Okay. Just like so. Pick our scale up, put some epoxy on the inside of it. Okay. Just like so. Roll off any excess. Okay. Take the knife, find the holes, give them a tap. Okay. Slide them over the edge a little bit. Tap them through where the other scale can find them. Okay. There's one. Flip the knife over. Epoxy it. Just like so. Okay. Sorry for not talking a lot. I'm just concentrating, that's all. Pick up your scale. Finish putting the rest of the epoxy on it. Should have just enough. And we do. Sometimes you get a little too much, that's okay. Better to have enough mixed than not enough. Once you get it on there, pick your knife up, find the holes. It should go right together. Lay it down. Take your hammer, drive your pin on through. Okay. Okay. Check the other side. There they are. Voila. Now, what I like to do is take just about 30 seconds and wipe this out. Okay? You don't want all that buildup on that knife. This will save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Clean off that excess. Get rid of it. You don't have to breathe it when you grind it. Because when you put a clamp or two on here, it's going to squeeze it back out. So take a few extra seconds and get it all off. Won't hurt a thing. Throw a couple clamps on it. Tell you what, before I go anywhere, I'll grab a couple of these quick clamps. You're thinking, oh no, he's not going to make it. It's going to harden before it gets done. Remember that extra minute I was needing? Well, this is it. So, I'll come back here. Right beside the pin in between them. We'll put a little pressure on that. Make sure she's tight. Look at that glue come out of there. See that? That's what I'm talking about right there. That's what we want. Now I know the scales on there are nice and flat. Little pressure on there, squeezing all that out. We'll take a second. We'll put it in there just like so. Lay her down if you have to. Now don't put it on top of the handle pins. Make sure you're not on a handle pin. Just crank it down a little bit. Oh, that glue's coming out. Just about like that. Check and make sure there ain't no gaps. Take your paper towel, wipe your excess off. Okay? Wipe all that excess glue off there. If you have to, reach and get you another towel. Wipe it all off. a lot to making knives. There's a lot of little things that people don't really see. A lot of unforeseens. Okay. Now check up front. This is very important right here. You don't want a lot of glue up front. You want to get all that cleaned out best you can. Some guys will take Q-tips and do this. I figure I got to go back in there and do some light cleaning. So I just want the bulk of the epoxy out of there. That's why we put tape on it. Put that tape on there. Oh, yeah. And there it is. One set of handle scales on number 1. We'll spread this out just a little bit and let it harden here in a couple minutes. And we can lay that one to the side. That community knife is really going to be nice. Yep, the first 5 are taking longer than I wanted. But you know what? The next 5 will be a little bit quicker. Now, what I'm going to do before I let this set and dry all the way is I'm going to take a light, small ball peen hammer, and I'm going to lay this up on my vise, and then I'm going to peen these just a little bit with a punch. Just enough to swell them. Not go crazy, but just enough to swell them. So that's what I'll do. I hope y'all enjoyed this little tutorial on knife blades and handles. I get through editing this video. It may be longer than what I want. But that's okay. Y'all be safe. God bless you. Watch your top knot. I'll catch you on the next one.